The next section deals with another important principle in spiritual development, which is developing adab. Adab refers to good manners, and good manners are an essential feature of developing spiritually. So the interaction that a person has as a student with the shaykh and also with other students, as they're interacting with other students, it provides a little training ground for adab. And adab is the means towards taqwa. Okay, now this is another very key feature of deen as a whole. All Muslims should have good adab. But again, so it should be constitutively expressed, as I've already explained throughout this program. But this is something that needs to be highly expressed in the people who are striving spiritually. I cannot overemphasize this as well. Adab is a key thing and highly emphasized in the circles of Tasawwuf. There are books and books written on what is the etiquette of this, what is the etiquette of this, what is the etiquette of this, what is the adab here. And sometimes when you read those books, they seem a bit extreme. And I agree that if you were to take them out of place, they do sound extreme. But you have to understand them in the context of just this global idea of adab. So generally speaking, we want to have the best manners possible. And the interaction with the shaykh and the other students, it basically forms a training ground for that adab. I'll give you an example. In the Quran, Allah states, and this is concerning adab that the Sahaba had with Rasulullah ﷺ, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَغُضُّونَ أَصْوَاتَهُمْ عِنْدَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Those who lower their voices before Allah's Messenger, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ, they are those who امتحن الله قلوبهم للتقوى. Allah has tested their hearts for patience. For piety, for taqwa. So look at me for a moment. Let's focus on this. What is Allah saying here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that concerning the companions who kept their voice low in front of the Prophet ﷺ, out of adab, out of respect, who spoke softly, that these are the people whose hearts have been tested for taqwa. Let me put it in today's terms. The entrance exam to taqwa is adab. The entrance exam, the imtihan, the test, the entrance exam to adab, to taqwa is adab. The more we express adab, the more we have passed the test, because this is what Allah is saying, right? That Allah tests their hearts for piety through the expression of adab. So we are a people who are very much in need of adab. And today, where is adab? Who has adab today? We don't know how to talk to one another. We don't know how to behave with one another. We don't know how to honor one another. We don't know how to humble ourselves before one another. We don't speak softly with one another. Adab have gone out the window. Out the window. Very, very rare to find good adab nowadays. And adab is such a key component of who the companions were and how they benefited from the Prophet ﷺ. And we are being told through this example that it is the entrance exam to taqwa. It is the entrance exam to taqwa. Look at another example here. One of the companions mentioned, Usama radiallahu anh. He says, I came to the Prophet and his companions. When he came to the Prophet and ﷺ and his companions, they were sitting as if they had birds on their heads. When he visited the Prophet ﷺ, he sees the companions around. The companions are sitting as if they have birds on their heads. You know, a bird doesn't come close to something unless it's still and silent. Yes? Still and silent. Sahaba sat in front of the Prophet ﷺ as if they were still and silent. One time, one of the mashayikh, just to give an example here, it's coming in my mind, so I'll share it. One time, one of the mashayikh was sitting with their students. Everybody was sitting with adab. Everybody was sitting with adab. The shaykh was sitting, everybody was sitting quietly, everybody was just silently waiting for some words of wisdom, for a lesson, let's say a lesson. So the shaykh sees everybody sitting, doesn't say anything, they sit for some time, everybody's silent, the shaykh gets up. When the shaykh gets up, one of the students asks, you didn't say anything. You didn't give any lesson today, you didn't say anything. So the shaykh looked at the students and said, if you can't benefit from my silence, you'll never be able to benefit from my words. If you can't benefit from my silence, you'll never be able to benefit from my words. What essentially was being shared at that point is that adab is beneficial in and of itself. The Sahaba benefited from the silence of the Prophet ﷺ just as much as they benefited from his words. Something very deep to reflect on. You know, we live in a time where everybody wants words. Honestly, the whole deen has become YouTube video. That's what essentially it's become at this point. Where's the ibadah? Where's the musalla? Where's the masjid? Where's adab? Where's the dhikr? No, the whole thing is one big YouTube video. Continuous feed, streaming after stream. That I don't have a solution for. I don't have a solution for that one. Adab cannot be escaped. Got to learn how to behave with parents. Got to learn how to behave with one's spouse. Got to learn how to behave with children. Got to learn how to behave with one another. Got to learn how to behave with neighbors. Got to learn how to behave with the boss. I'm not saying the boss is the spouse. I'm talking about the boss at work. So, adab cannot escape adab. Sorry, that's just the reality in which we live. Ibn al-Mubarak, he's reported to have said, I studied adab for 30 years, and I studied knowledge for 20 years. Of course, one of our pious predecessors, all of you have heard the name. I studied adab for 30 years, and I studied knowledge for 20 years. So look at where the weight is being given. And this is one of the earliest of our scholars, and I told you one of the earliest emphasis in the science of Tasawwuf was on adab actually, because that fine-tuning was sufficient to create that environment that was, to preserve the environment that was present at the time of the companions. So we want to study so many things, and I appreciate that we should study those things. I don't deny those. But where are we going to learn adab? Where are we going to learn how to talk with humility? And where are we going to have someone to tell us, you're wrong, you need to quiet down, you need to express humility, you need to be humble? This is the training ground. The shaykh has a relationship with the student and does not fear sharing that information with them. And hopefully the more mature and senior students that are present, the ones that have been around for a little longer, they have learned this lesson and they're also expressing adab, and it creates a beautiful environment that is a tremendous learning ground for everyone that is seeking this particular characteristic. Abdullah ibn Mubarak also said, he's reported to have said, we are a people more in need of a little character than we are in need of an abundance of knowledge. And subhanAllah, he's saying this when? Centuries ago. What would you say today? We are a people more in need of a little character than a whole bunch of knowledge. Everybody knows everything nowadays. You can quote this, you can quote that, you can watch this, you can watch that, you can learn this, you can learn that. And there's no experience. It's like a Netflix. The deen has become just a Netflix show. It's just like, stream this. Oh, would you like this? It just keeps going. You know, what is it, binge? We binge the deen on a bunch of videos. But that's not what this is about. Gaining a bunch of information to entertain our minds. This is about the hard work of humility before parents, of apologizing when wrong, of my opinion isn't always the right one, of acknowledging the pride that exists within us, of sacrificing my own desires to fulfill the needs of others. Can't escape it. This is what Tasawwuf teaches. This is where the emphasis lies. And we cannot ever overemphasize the need for adab. The ultimate sign of the attainment of adab. By the way, this training ground, people sometimes get confused. They think, oh my God, this training ground is just a means to create an environment with the shaykh and the students, and this environment is foreign. No. This is a training ground. The goal is not to have proper adab with the shaykh. The shaykh comes and goes. The goal is that this adab should then permeate you and go beyond into every aspect of existence. So the ultimate sign of attainment of adab is that it becomes general to all of humanity. It becomes general to all of humanity. Our adab should be a model for all of mankind. Our adab should become a model for all of mankind. People should look at us, they should see our character, and they should say, wow, how did you become like that? Why are you so different than everybody else? Why is it that the world puts me down, but you raise me up? Why is it that the world disrespects me, but you treat me with respect? Why is it that the world always wants to speak over me, but you want to listen? Where did that come from? And it should drive people in droves to the deen. And I'm telling you, historically, this is how the deen spread. The experience of Allah and the exhibition of adab. This is what deen is. The experience of one Allah and behaving as if we see Him, knowing that He always watches us, and to express that through excellent manners. This is the ultimate sunnah. And this is what every person needs to strive for, because this is what establishes deen in the surroundings. If we treat our children with adab, our spouse with adab, our parents with adab, our immediate family with adab, our neighbors with adab, our co-workers with adab, they will see a difference. And I can tell you, I've experienced this in my own life. Eventually, every field in which I was taught to express adab, when I expressed that adab, eventually anybody who was before me melts. And I'm talking about outside of the realm of the deen. I'm talking about in our worldly experiences. So we really are a people of adab, and the ultimate sign that we've attained adab is not that I sit like this in the masjid. You know, that's not what it is. It's the testing ground is outside. How do I behave with my spouse when nobody's around? How do I behave with my family? All family, extended, in-laws, immediate. How do I behave with them? How do I behave with a neighbor? How do I behave with coworkers? How do I behave with anyone who comes in contact with me? That's the ultimate expression of adab.